is the cost per square foot, price per square foot to build? So what do you think of that question?
It dictates by square footage, it dictates by design, and it dictates by land.
Yeah.
If you can't tell them you have heartburn in the morning, you are not working with the right person.
Key to see here.
Today we're going to be talking about building versus remodeling, and we'll get out in the field and talk to a couple different local contractors.
That's right. I've had experience of doing both, building and remodeling. In fact, we're in the middle of a remodel project right now. So I'd love to give some insight and ask all the right questions.
So if you're trying to decide if a custom new construction is the way to go or buy a home and remodel and make it your own, we hope this video will help you, and that's what we're here for.
Let's go get some information from a local contractor. So now we are here at a Lavrovich construction site in Gig Harbor. This is Corey and Taylor Lavrovich, owners of the company. Guys, how long have you been in construction?
I've been around construction pretty much my whole life, working for my dad's company. And then back in 2024, we started our own company.
So I know that you guys have made a lot of our past clients very happy with your remodels. And I know that you specialize in remodeling. So when would you say it makes more sense to remodel versus build?
I would say if you like your current house's location, you like the size of the house that you're living in, and it makes sense for your family, you can always add walls, take down walls, redo the kitchen, just make it make more sense for your family and your lifestyle.
And as far as timelines go, building versus remodeling?
Well, you're always going to remodel quicker than you can build. A lot of the times with remodels, you're not having to go through that same permitting process. I mean, it really depends on what you're doing, but it's always going to be about a third of the timeline to remodel at minimum.
Building from ground up could take anywhere from a year to 3 years to build, whereas a large remodel could take a month to 3 months.
Yeah, so personally building, being a part of the build on our own house, we lived at our in-laws property. We've been living in a house during a remodel, so I understand like a lot of the strenuous things that come with a remodel. What would you guys say some of the implications of remodeling would be?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is that we know that remodeling your home is an inconvenience in a lot of ways, but we've done it too. And so we know ways to mitigate the disturbances for you and your family. Our crews are really clean. We try to be really tidy on our job sites, and just go that extra mile to make sure that while you guys are living in the home, that we're doing a good job to minimize the amount of impact on you and your family.
Right.
You can always do it in phases as well.
Yeah.
So you can take half the house, start with this phase, complete that. You can move their stuff to that area and then start the next phase.
Makes sense.
Yep.
So the big question I always get from clients that want to build, and I'm trying to convince to remodel because I know that the building process can be like a 3-year, very expensive process. What are some of the biggest compromises a client might have to make if they choose to remodel?
The biggest compromise would be that you are stuck with the footprint of your house. You can only take down and build so many walls, and there's only so many things you can do. So
you're working around existing plumbing and, kind of the foundation, the way the home was built. So you have to get more creative.
Right.
But then a good compromise sometimes, if you have the space, is to actually add an addition, that's going to save you, some money as opposed to building from the ground up.
Right.
The permitting process is much shorter.
Also, too, I think you can never find dirt nowadays in Gig Harbor. It's really hard to find land in desirable areas. So if you have a house like this one in a great neighborhood close to town,
get creative.
You got to get creative, but you got, and looking into additions is a smart way to go. So I think the driving force for most people is going to be what financially makes the most sense for me. So obviously with building, depending on your situation, you're either going to have to carry a mortgage on your current home while you fund a construction site, which is not easy financially, or you have to rent while you build. So what are some of the financial benefits to choosing remodel?
well, you already own your home when you remodel. And a lot of people, especially in a place like Gig Harbor, where home prices have exponentially increased over the last 5-10 years, is that they can actually leverage like a home equity line of credit to use that for their remodels. And that kind of saves people from having to have cash on hand, and they will get that return back in their home. And that's something that I feel like we really specialize in, is making sure that we're remodeling a home and making sure that it's going to get that ROI at the end of the day, whether the family chooses to stay or sell it.
I mean, when you're doing a remodel, there's the very high-end products, there's the low-end products, and just having a contractor that can find you a product that fits your budget, that is still of good quality, and that you're not completely breaking the bank to complete your remodel.
So it gives you the flexibility to do what fits for you and your family.
So based on your experience, what do you think some of the most common misconceptions people have about remodeling would be?
I think most people think when they remodel a home, they're stuck with living in that home for 5 to 10 years, but really all you did by remodeling your house, you gained value and really just came up with more options for yourself in the long run. Now you can sell your house for more money, and then you can make that decision if you want to buy a new house or build in the future.
I think another misconception that people have as well is that they put a lot of weight on having to make all these decisions. And really, if you hire a good contractor, they're going to help you along the way make the right decisions for not only your budget, but also things that they know are trendy and stylish and that are going to add value to your home.
So I heard you mention, about choosing the right contractor and how important that is. What are some of the things you look for in a contractor, and how do you decide, who you work with?
Right off the bat, just from meeting them face to face, if you're getting a good vibe with that person.
We always say, you want to know, and trust whoever you're working with. And I think that it's really important. We hold a lot of value on communication and being upfront honest with our clients right off the bat, talking about what their expectations are, what their budget is. There's a lot of unforeseens and unknowns within any construction project, and I think just being really honest from the bat is really important, and having that open dialogue between your contractor.
Are there any major red flags that you hear about from contractors, to look out for if someone's shopping contractors?
If somebody's bid seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you're going into it knowing you're going to do a full kitchen remodel and you're looking for a contractor of that sort, and you meet with one, he should have a portfolio with lots of photos of kitchens he's done in the past. And if those fit the look and the style you're going for, I would say that would be a good fit.
And client referrals. You should have good reviews. You should be able to ask your contractor, do you have, like you said, a portfolio or any references, and come up with at least, subcontractors or past clients that, have something good to say.
Yeah. So with my realtor hat on, I'm always programmed. You got to get 3 bids for everything. So talking about a bid that's too good to be true, what do you mean by that?
So like you said, let's say you get 3 bids. One comes in at 125,000, one comes in at 100, and then one's way down there at 50, and you're like, oh, no brainer, we're going with the lowest option. That could lead you to some serious trouble. You could find yourself about halfway through a project, already blown through that 50 grand and stuck with half a house.
And you get what you pay for, right? There's some truth behind that.
Yeah. And I think we see a lot of contractors just trying to win bids. And so they'll bid really low, and then they'll come in later down the road and say, well, sorry, add this, and then you're left with a ton of supplemental bills, and then you're probably, at the end of the day, over what the other contractors may have quoted you in the beginning.
Right. So you want to get an itemized bid in hand and be able to look through it and see how much time and labor, materials, and all.
Yeah, and just make sure the whole bid actually lays out the whole project, rather than just throwing big numbers at
general. Yeah. So a lot of times when I receive bids, I see overhead fee or contractor fee. Is there any clarification on what that actually means?
Well, you should be seeing overhead and profit on a contractor's bid, and if you don't, run, because what they're doing is probably building it into the line items and you're not getting full transparency on what your contractor is charging you. And that's something that we're really upfront about. We always include a line item on our bids for overhead and profit. And that's because a general contractor is a job, and that job is project management. We're managing all of these subcontractors and getting paid to do that. You know, you're saving money a lot of times when you go with a general contractor because you're saving on costs, but you are paying for that overhead and profit for that contractor.
Right.
And we always want people to see on our bids what they're paying for and not just building it into the line items.
Yeah, most contractors take like about 20 to 30%, but like she's saying, if you don't see that at the bottom line item, a contractor fee or overhead and profit, and it's just built in,
You're not always
that's,
getting transparency.
you're not seeing how much of a percentage they're putting on top of their sub.
We want our clients to know what we're charging.
So no contractor fee on a bid is a red flag.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've kind of been, asking you the questions, but if I put it in your hands and let you tell me exactly, at the end of the day, what is the best thing to ask yourself when you're trying to decide between remodeling or building, what would that be?
I think if you have a large budget and a lot of time on your hands, building is a good option for you. I think remodel would be the right way to go if you are on a budget and you are on a tight timeline.
And you love your location and you just want to make your house fit more for you.
Those are big items for sure.
Yeah.
So if anyone viewing this video had any questions for you guys, would you mind if they reached out?
Oh, absolutely. We are on Instagram at Lavrovich Construction. We have a website, lavrovichconstruction.com, and a Facebook page.
And find you on Google, right?
And you can find us on Google.
Okay.
Even give us a call. Happy to answer any questions.
And I can try to figure out exactly what your value would be after remodel as well. So call us all.